here we are on Phuket Property once again. Thank you very much for joining us on Phuket News TV. Today's guest is Mark Tanner. Mark's from Green Arc Design and Construction, and he's been involved with the amazing Pavilions Estate up around the Laguna area, sort of overlooking Lion Beach.
Correct, yes.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to have to talk about some pretty groovy design features of Pavilions Estate. Give me a quick example, then we'll have a break.
We've tried to bring our international experience and our local experience into this project. So we have brought an international combined with local aesthetic, combined with sustainable principles. So these buildings will not only look good, but actually function well into the future.
There's some pretty interesting features. We'll have a talk about that with Mark right after this.
Holiday Inn Resort and Spa Patong invites you to experience the Sea Breeze Cafe. Kids eat for free and prices start at just 599 baht plus per adult from 6:30 until 10 p.m. at the Holiday Inn Patong.
And this is Phuket News TV and our Phuket Property segment. We're speaking to Mark Tanner today from Green Arc Design and Construction. Let's go through some of the features of the Pavilions Estate design. What is so unique about what you've done?
We've developed a process to speed up the construction. So a big part of what we do and the way we detail the project is we design it in a way that we can take pieces out and actually manufacture them separately to the ongoing site construction. So we are able to half normal construction times. But at the same time, the part that we take off-site and manufacture is much more better quality controlled. So it means that at the end of the day, when we put, let's say, the Lego pieces together, the final product is 1 in half the time constructed, but 2, the quality control is far better. So it means that there's advantages on both ends.
So how have things been done in the past? It's all been done on site. So you've got to have a factory where you're building the project before you bring it here. Where is it all put together?
So we're an international firm. We have a base in Bangkok where we manufacture certain parts of a building. And then basically we bring those, in this case to Phuket, or if it's a project of ours overseas in the South Pacific or in the UK, we'll ship these parts to the construction location, and then essentially our team, because we are also the constructors, assemble those pieces as part of the construction process.
Now there's a big green feel for what you've done here, and you've really been very 2014 the way that you've put this whole project together. What are some of the key green protocols you've brought to the project?
We try to bring sustainability into buildings, first of all with passive design. So primarily our backbone is architecture. So simple things like breezeways, grass roofs, vegetating the walls where the sun hits the buildings, shading type screens on those walls as well. So the idea is to keep the heat out of the building. Once the heat gets inside the building, that's when you have your problems.
Yeah.
So our big issue is keeping it out, and then essentially after that also adding some smart technology in, things like solar panels, things like recycled water systems.
Some of these things are just common sense. Why haven't we been using them a lot in the past?
A lot of the new technologies cost extra money, and if clients see that basically as the main reason why they have to, go down the path of sustainability, they clearly have issues with it. But what we try to do is design a lot of it in, and it costs no more than normal construction.
Sure.
Yeah.
In other words, clever design, not adding these things later, but including them as part of the whole project.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, the whole idea of green roofs has been around for a long time, and it's not that they're necessarily much more expensive than a normal roof, and you can also use that space so uniquely.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of key issues. One is it's aesthetically pleasing. So our site terraces down, so we don't want to have beautiful villas and apartments at the top of our site looking over not unattractive roofs below. It's much nicer to be looking over grass, and that blends into the rest of the greenery of the heavily landscaped estate. So aesthetically it's important for us. Secondly, of course, as soon as you stop that heat getting inside the building with that insulated layer on the roof, you save a lot of power with the air conditioning side of things. And it's just probably healthier for the planet to have a lot more green on the roofs, helping to turn carbon dioxide back into oxygen and so on. So it works for everybody.
As far as Pavilions Estate's concerned, it's been really spectacularly successful. Congratulations.
Great.
And the people that come and buy the projects, buy the units, the apartments, do they ask you about the sustainable issues and the green issues? It must be quite attractive to the market.
I mean, I think most people, when they buy anything, are interested if what they are buying is in some way sustainable or responsible in terms of its production and so on. So people like all that. People don't like to pay extra for that, generally speaking, unless they're very self-aware of the environmental issues. So
do customers ask for this these days, though? Is it something that they put in their list of priorities when they buy?
Probably at least 50% of people say, oh, you know, what are you doing sustainable and so on. Everybody is interested in the fact, though, that if we can design things that are going to then run more energy efficiency and they don't have the same sort of costs, everyone's interested in that point for sure.
You can drive around a lot of Phuket and pretty much within 2 or 3 years pick when a building's been built. They have a certain look, they come from a certain era, especially the last 20 years. The sort of buildings you've done they don't stand out as amazing or unique. They're not like the Sydney Opera House. They look like they're sort of designed to last a few eras.
For sure. I mean, we've tried to keep a simple sort of design style, but at the same time, we've really designed these buildings that within, let's say, 3 years, they will blend right into the environment. We've put screens up all the vertical walls to train creepers to grow up. And we hope that within 3 or 4 years, that the density of that vegetation will mean that our buildings actually sink back into the landscape. So the idea being that we're more of enhancing the natural environment than altering it, which is the traditional way of architecture and construction.
Let's get into the nuts and bolts of Pavilions Estate. Who's been buying the apartments? Where have they come from? I
mean, a lot of expats who are in the Asian region, so Hong Kong, Singapore and so on, people out of Bangkok. So a lot of people in that area, because the idea being that this is sort of like a second home or a long weekend sort of place. A lot of the people that have come aren't multi-millionaires. These are people that are well enough off, but they want to buy something from a point of view of a smart investment as well. So most of the people that have bought here are people that have bought also because of the great investment opportunity.
Yeah, and it should be said that Pavilions Estate is part of a much larger resort, and the infrastructure's already here.
Correct, yeah. So, I mean, the main part of the resort has been here for close to a decade, so it's well entrenched with regard to the right infrastructure. Obviously, the services that we have here are, you know, second to none. And the actual, which is important from a bottom line point of view, we actually we have a company that fills, from a rental point of view, our own property internationally. So what that means is that if someone buys with us and they put it into our rental pool, we know that we can rent it out at a certain rate at a certain amount of time of the year. So we don't offer some pretending rent return to help sell. We just basically sell it what's a fair market rate, and we tell them what we know we can do from a rental point of view, because we've been doing it for almost a decade here.
Okay, Mark, well, for the units that you've got left, I know it's been very popular, there's not many left. How can people get in contact with Pavilions Estate and your company?
So in terms of the Pavilions Estate website, obviously, thepavilionsestate.com. Also, you can call the general line here at the Pavilions Resort here in Phuket and be passed through to the sales team. From our consultancy and construction company's point of view, www.greenarc.net.au, and on our website, on the contact page, obviously there's telephone numbers there.
Yeah, and really, I think there's only 3 or 4 left, so it's been really popular.
Yeah, I mean, we're down to a small number of units left. We still have some villas left. There's stock still there for people to see, but they better get in quick.
Okay, it's been great meeting you, talking to you about this project. It's really unique, and I've loved seeing it sort of emerge, and the artist impressions you've done. Looks like a spectacular place to live. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Mark Tanner here on Phuket News TV and Phuket Property, and we'll be back again next week with another property.
Motorbike to sell, so I put it in the Phuket News Classifieds, and it was sold within the week. If you can't sell it in the Phuket News, you just can't sell it.
Check out our classifieds at thephuket.news.com.